What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's CTO, and we got some new news for Gundam Breaker 4. First thing being a release date. We got a release date being August 29th. The game will drop August 29th on all platforms that it will be available for. We also got some new news in regards to the optional system, customization, and also game speed as well. I'm going to go over it, and I'm going to try to make the video as quick and painless as possible. Let's get into the video. What's playing in the background is some old Gundam Breaker 4 closed network test footage. It's from the training mode or the test area mode that they added into the game, and it's basically just me testing out the combos and animation cancels and just kind of seeing what can be done. You guys can kind of just watch and see what I'm doing and kind of get a feel for what you can animation cancel and what you cannot in the game. Also, they did make a lot of announcements in the new launch trailer that they did launch today. I will post that in the description for people who did not see that, so you guys can watch that and see what did get announced. I'm not going to go over them in this video. I just mainly want to go over what was covered in the stream. The first change that they made when it comes to customization is when you're painting your parts in the painting option, the camera will actually pan to the part that you're painting. So if you're painting your left arm, the camera will zoom into your left arm so you can get a better look at what you're painting. You're also able to resize and make builders parts even bigger or even smaller than you originally were in the closed network test. So that's a good change as well. And you can also orientate your backpacks in more directions. So you can actually flip backpacks in a 360-degree angle now, which is also a very good change as well when it comes to customization. The biggest change for me that has happened, or that I saw in the stream, is the optional system is changing. The optional system is going to be more similar to Gundam Breaker 3, and where each optional has its own cooldown. Thank you, Bandai, for listening and actually changing that, because that's big for the game. So each optional will have its own cooldown, but there is going to be a caveat to where if you have two optionals right above each other, so let's say you're looking at the bottom right of the screen at the moment in the video, you'll see like how each optional is attached to a certain button. So let's say I'm going to give each optional a name. The one on the left is square, the one on the top is triangle, the one on the right is circle, the one on the bottom is X. Let's say you have two optionals, one in triangle, one in X. If those two optionals are attached to the same part, so let's say they're both chest optionals, you have one chest Vulcan and then a chest beam saber. If you use the Vulcans, the beam saber will go on cooldown as well. I have a picture in the background so you guys can get a better view of what I mean when I say that. So I know that might have been a little confusing, but that's one thing that they are kind of keeping, is that if you do use two optional attached to the same part, they will have a shared cooldown. Each optional, aside from that, will have its own cooldown. And I'm assuming that if you do not put them in that orientation, that they won't have a shared cooldown. Like let's say you put one optional in triangle and then one in circle, and they're attached to the same part, that they won't have the same cooldown, but we'll see when we get into the game to really test that. Now, the final change is that they're going to make the speed of the game, or they're going to up the speed of the game a little bit to feel a little bit more similar to Gundam Breaker 3. They said that they did hear the change, that the game did feel a little slower compared to Gundam Breaker 3. They're going to try to alleviate that by upping the game speed normally, but they also did say that response speed will make the game faster as well. So I don't think that they'll make it too much faster, but it's good to hear that they are going to up the speed of the game a little bit, because that was something that I noticed as well. Now, customization change aside, because more customization is always better. No one's really going to complain about that. I highly doubt that they would roll it out in like a bad state where it has bugs or anything like that, especially since the release date is in August. But customization change aside, the optional change, making it more like Gundam Breaker 3, is going to make this game, in my opinion, more of a hit than it already was going to be. And I think it's going to maybe even blow the game to a point to where maybe even Bandai may not have expected if more than just Gundam Breaker fans try the game and actually play the game. And because the game already feels very fun as an action game, and them just making the optionals have like their own cooldown is going to allow you to not only make new combos and have better combos, it's going to open up options for break builds and using optionals that have high break potential, like two-handed swords or like missile pods. And when you're playing co-op and you have, like, let's say you have one person doing Gatling gun build where they're just building up the hit counter so you can get the buffs, You have someone else that's running a break build that's able to break parts so that you're able to get more parts, because you do get parts as you break parts. And then you have someone who's more like a support, maybe buffing the team, stuff like that. I think it'll open up a lot more for co-op play for people who are going to tackle the harder difficulties, assuming that the harder difficulties are still as hard or about as challenging as they are in Gundam Breaker 3. I'm looking forward to the game even more thanks to these changes. I think the game is going to be even better. I think that the game will probably even exceed Bandai's expectations to a point where they may even consider maybe doing a PvP version or a live service version of Gundam Breaker. That would be kind of fire. I know we did get Gundam Breaker Mobile, but the reason why I didn't play Gundam Breaker Mobile is mostly because it was mobile and it just didn't really look similar to most Gundam games, being just how the camera was orientated and just how combat seemed to work in the game. It just didn't really look like most Gundam games for me, so I just didn't really get into it. But if they made a live service or even like a PvP version live service, they don't even have to really port PvE version of the game being live service. They had like a PvP kind of just like its own separate thing of like a Gundam Breaker as PvP game where it's live service and similar to how the game plays here in Gundam Breaker 4. I think people would go crazy for that, to be honest. And I think if Gundam Breaker 4 does pretty well, hopefully they take that into consideration and maybe even start working on something similar to that, or even start working on something even better than what we have currently in Gundam Breaker or even Gundam Breaker 5. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. If y'all enjoyed the video, or if this video put you on to some things that you didn't know about the game, definitely drop a like or a sub. It would definitely help out the channel tremendously. Again, you guys have been killing it with the support on the channel. I had a goal of 300 in a few videos ago, and when I look at my channel now, it's like you guys shattered that in just a few videos, and we're already almost at 500, which is crazy to even think about compared to just where I was at a couple of weeks ago. But thank y'all for the support, for real. Definitely do appreciate it. I have been streaming Megaton Musashi a lot, and I'm getting pretty far in well, not pretty far, I've gotten pretty far to where I'm able to start doing Megaton 2. I started doing some of the Megaton 2 missions, so I will start making videos on Megaton 2 difficulty stuff soon. The next video for Megaton Musashi will probably be just Stronghold and going over the conquest mode and how that works and why you probably should be farming it if you're not already. Also, Wuthering Waves is about to drop soon, and I probably will, or definitely I will be covering that game on the channel here. So if you guys are interested in that, or if you guys don't know what Wuthering Waves is, be prepared to find out, because that game is actually a really fun action game. I'm not going to even classify it as a gacha game because the action in that game is actually really top notch. But thank y'all for watching again. I will catch y'all in the next video, and peace.